Just smile.
I realize that I'm not your target demographic, but I love listening to your station as it is the only progressive station on the dial.
That's us. Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
There's always that one person that will always have your heart. You never see it coming 'cause you're blinded from the start. Know that you're that one for me. It's clear for everyone to see. Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
You gotta rock and wait in this one. Come on.
See, I don't know about y'all, but I know about us. And
it's the only way we know how to rock.
I don't know about y'all, but I know about us. And
it's the only way we know how to rock. Do you remember, girl? I was the one who gave you your first kiss. 'Cause I remember, girl, I was the one who said, put your lips like this. Even before all the fame and people screaming your name. Girl, I was there, and you were my baby. It started when we were younger, you were mine. Now another brother's taking over, but it's still in your eyes.
Happy Monday, Victory Monday for you Chiefs fans. A little sadness for the 49ers fans. Welcome into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This, of course, is the show where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture with me, your host, Jill Munroe. I hope you had a relaxed or exciting weekend. You know, the Super Bowl went down yesterday, and there is much to discuss in and around it. There were some surprises, some duds, I don't know what that's about. All of that. So we're going to get into all of that, of course, with our recap. But there are other stories as well that we're going to get into tonight. So let me give you a rundown of what you can expect on tonight's RSVP with Jill Munroe. So first up, as I mentioned, we're going to recap the Super Bowl, Usher's performance, and a couple of other things surrounding it. We're also going to look at, it's a quick turnaround, but we can examine, was the Super Bowl good for Las Vegas? Now, more likely than not, the Super Bowl will return to Las Vegas, but I'm going to tell you why I believe that there will be some pushback about Super Bowl swinging back through Vegas the next time. So we're going to get into that. And Beyonce has announced that it's time to get your cowboy hats ready, your chaps, your little pasties, and all of that, because we are headed country. So we're going to get into Beyonce's country music surprise drop. We're also going to get into a little bit of history of, Black people in country music and why this should not seem as out of the box as everyone is making it out to be. So we're going to talk about that. Coming up in hour 2, Shannon Sharpe. It has been, his moment the last few months. And we know the Cat Williams interview obviously did a great deal. The Monique interview is doing a lot of things as well. But now the pushback is coming. There is feedback that is not all love. So Shannon got into a bit of a back and forth with comedian Mike Epps. So we're going to take a look at that, talk about if Shannon is being a little bit sensitive and should he expected blowback to come after the explosive interviews. So we're going to talk about that in hour 2. And in hour 3, right before Valentine's Day, teardrop, 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 we are going to discuss a breakup in our midst that nobody should really be surprised it happened, but it is a little high schoolish playing out on social media, so we're going to get into those details. Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen have ended their relationship, so we're going to get into that, plus a whole lot more. Now, before we get into everything, I like to start the show with a couple of conversation starters. These are topics that we don't have time to get fully into, but you need to be aware because This is where you come to get all of your information, right? Right. So first up, I don't know if you guys peeped it, but Dr. Dre and Snoop are riding once again. They came out with a teaser kind of commercial spot to promote a new product with each other. And the commercial spot was nice, very well shot. It very much has a 90s nostalgia vibe in the mindset of Goodfellas and Pulp Fiction. Not really one or the other, but there's elements and things that you can take away from both of those films in the snippet. And it is for a can gin and juice line. Now, some might say, it's a couple years too late, but it's never too late. We're coming out with products out the box. And of course, as Snoop said in a recent interview, when you think about like signing artists or doing acting projects or things of that nature, product does not talk back. It just does what it does. So make sure you check out the clip online. It's kind of spicy. It is on Dr. Dre's social media as well as Snoop Dogg's. And let me know if you try the gin and juice. Let me know what it's hitting for. Side note, we know that Victoria Monet won several Grammys last week, and everybody was outside in Vegas doing their thing. Well, Bruno Mars gave Victoria Monet her props at his recent show. He played a little bit of On My Mama while he was singing Leave the Door Open when he spotted her in the audience. So we always like to hear about one artist giving it up for the next, songwriters and all that. So shout out to Victoria Monet for that. Now, we're going to be getting into the Super Bowl topics, but let me tell you what. We know that sports betting has taken on another level, surprisingly so, and we're going to get into a little bit about that as far as Las Vegas and the Super Bowl. Well, social media comedian and actor now, I guess, Drewski, he won $1 million off Prize Picks betting on Chiefs players. So, cash him out. When we come forward, we're going to get into this Super Bowl recap, all of the madness, a little bit about the game, but the drama surrounding it, the parties, all of that and more on the other side. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough.
Hey LA, when you're trying to get where you need to go, like work, school, and what matters to you, Metro is here to get you there. With discounted fares and free pass programs, Metro is making public transportation affordable and easy to ride for everyone. Plan your trip at metro.net.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So let's get into this Super Bowl 2024 recap. So we know that the Chiefs won in overtime in a heartbreaker to the 49ers. 49ers led for the majority of the game, I believe, if not all, the majority of it until overtime. And we saw what happened. Don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. That's what it's seeming like. First back-to-back championships since the New England Patriots in the early 2000s. I mean, it certainly feels like a dynasty is being built there. Yada, 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 a lot of plays. We saw Travis Kelce kind of lose his cool a little bit. We saw some freak injuries happen on the field. Somebody said the reason why the 49ers will never prosper, no matter what, is because they didn't do right by Colin Kaepernick. I don't know if you believe that. I don't know if you feel that way, but, you know, those are the things that people are kicking around in social media. But unfortunately, that was a heartbreaking loss. I think, you know, as I said, I didn't have a dog in this fight. I'm a Rams fan. My team was at home. Nothing to be said. But, you know, I wanted to see a good game. And I wasn't betting against Patrick Mahomes, but I didn't have a dog in the fight. So we achieved something. Andy, you look like you had something you wanted to say.
No, just everybody bringing up Kaepernick is just total BS in my opinion.
You know, I mean, here's the thing. Like, people, we see the question swing around. I thought I was, you know, I'm still boycotting the NFL and things of that nature. And I understand those feelings and things of that nature, but you saw everybody else wasn't a long time ago. And just like there are reasons to do it, your reasons for still continuing to do it, can't be mad at everybody else because it's a personal stance that you are making because of what you feel is within your moral fiber and code. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a quick turnaround for the season. I think the combine comes in a couple weeks. So you football fans, you guys will have something to look forward to. NFL fans, see you next September. And that's just how the story goes. Now, you know, a lot of money was flowing out in Vegas. We have talked off and on about Zeus Network and some of the stars over there and some of the happenings. And I also mentioned a couple of weeks ago that some of the hotels had the club suites that were on field level right behind the goalpost, and those were going for about $2 million for booth setting, food, etc., alcohol, and the close-up view. Well, Zeus Network dropped the $1 million+ bag on the club seating for that section to bring in their talent to enjoy the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. So suffice it to say, you guys are paying, I don't know how much Zeus costs per month, maybe $3 or something like that. Seems like a lot of people are tapping in. I'm just saying, we vote with our dollars and with our views. So, obviously there were a lot of people in attendance to the Super Bowl. You saw the list run down. I know there were a lot of questions as to why Ice Spice and Taylor Swift are hanging out. How did that connection come to happen? And really, the backstory about that is that before Travis, Taylor was with a guy named Matty Healy, and he kind of was a little racist, a little neo-Nazi ish, made some alleged unflattering comments about Ice Spice. So Taylor came out and defended Ice and ended up doing a song with her, and now they're BFFs. Some people feel as though it's a bit staged and put upon, but there you go. She was at the Super Bowl with, a bunch of friends in the booth reacting. I think it was Lana Del Rey that was in there along with Taylor Swift. Blake Lively, who, from Gossip Girl fame, hair was looking amazing. And LeBron James was there. I will say this, though. Usually we look forward to the commercials at the Super Bowl. Whack. I didn't really enjoy the commercials. The only commercial that I did enjoy was the Dunkin' Donuts commercial that had Jennifer Lopez, Ben Affleck, Tom Brady, Matt Damon, Jack Harlow, Fat Joe, maybe a couple of other ones. That was kind of funny, but overall, didn't kind of love it. And, after we get into this Usher story, I do want to mention how I don't know if she's young, but a Black creative on TikTok who started making videos around football, the Kansas City Chiefs, and her stepdad, who happens to be white, and their self-care routine. A brand ripped off their concept and didn't compensate them. And social media caught wind of it and raised that up. So we'll get into that later. But let's talk about Usher, baby. So Usher came in to mixed reviews, right? I feel like the fact that Usher's mic was on, there was no backing track, and he gave the performance that he did. One was amazing, absolutely incredible. I know that some people felt like, oh, well, he cycled through too much. But listen, Usher has an almost 30-year career at this point. And why should he not? What song should he have rested more in and cut something out? I feel like he gave us what we need. Although, I will say, one, I did not have Turn Down for What on my list of songs I expected to hear at the Super Bowl, but I do understand that is a stadium anthem, so it fits, right? But they could have left that one out, my opinion. Also, I don't have the same hatred for my boo that everybody else does, but that note was not it. Kudos to the NFL and whoever else for fixing it on the re-air. It doesn't matter. Excuse me. People aren't going to let Alicia Keys live that moment down like they always do. So it's there. Shout out to her. She's a rock star. She ripped it. I very much felt in the mind of Prince when she was out there with the guitar solo on You Got It Bad and the smoke. Her did her thing, and I was happy to see it. I loved that moment. Some other things that I felt people didn't catch. There was one, Usher did not start with Caught Up. There was a half a second of My Way. You can't let that go past. That little bit.
Doesn't count.
Andy saying it doesn't count. It does, though, because I feel like it set the tone for the whole performance. If you think back to the My Way video, very chaotic video, took place in an abandoned park. Tyrese was the male lead opposite him, or his competition in that video. It had lots of dancers. There was lots of acrobatics, kind of had a Warriors from Escape from New York type of feel. And I think it set the tone for all the pageantry that happened after the fact. Go, Andy.
I'm with you, but I'm looking at it maybe from a casual fan standpoint who might not be familiar with Usher. Mm-hmm. They probably wouldn't have known that was a song from him. That's the only reason why I'm kind of like, I don't know if I give it too much. But I like the breakdown because I didn't even think about the video aspect of it. I think that was cool.
So also appreciate that. Also, I don't know if you guys heard, right? There was a little bit of a Jackson's dedication in there. There was a little bit, I think it was from the Triumph album. I don't know if it was Can You Feel It or something, but that little do do do, kind of band moment that I appreciate with the horns, give it up to that. Also, also, very important, Jackson State's sonic boom on stage with him as the marching band. I thought that that was very cool for the culture and to give them some national exposure, you know. I also appreciated that he had Kappas up there on stage to give a little bit of that HBCU flavor to go ahead with the band and match that up. I think there was little things that he did that to me were, very much in the pocket. You guys saw the warning before this halftime show started. Said Apple Music Administration advises the following performance is rated U, may cause singing, dancing, sweating, gyrating, possible relationship issues. Get ready to witness a performance that is 30 years in the making. So I understand that, but 30 years, I guarantee you this. Maybe if you aren't familiar with all of Usher's catalog or connects you, I guarantee there is some song, whether it's Oh My God or Yeah, because Yeah seems to be the go-to choice for our Caucasian brothers and sisters as their number one Usher song. And it's not a bad song to be your number one Usher song, but they very much seem to know that song. So I feel like they're going to know some parts of it, and some part of that performance would, attract you. Now, I will say this. I appreciate you shouting out Atlanta, right? But Atlanta's not some small town that needs to be put on the map anymore. And that doesn't mean I'm not saying don't pay homage, but the Super Bowl is in Las Vegas. So give it up to the A. But did we need that much A? I don't know. It's up, it's the culture. I get it. I appreciated him giving you the tick from You Got It Bad, where he does the little thing. There were certain things he did for the culture. I also appreciated that he used the girl from TikTok's sound in his performance that she asked that went viral, where was Usher at 7 o'clock? It was little things like that that I felt were for the fans and things like that. Also, and this is just, let me tell you, as a young actor or actress, if you were going out for a role or a performance like that, do not lie on your skill set. I don't know if you guys saw it, but one girl bidded on the roller skates, fell off the stage, and she later posted a TikTok admitting that she lied, like most actors do when they say just check everything for your skills. She lied and said she could roller skate. She couldn't, and she skated right off the stage. So, Andy.
It's interesting. You highlighted all the pageantry, right? Mm-hmm. But barely talked about his vocals.
I did talk about his vocals. The first thing out the gate I said is that Usher performed no backing track. He performed all that live. The mic is on.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing that.
And I think that was a problem right there. I think
you think he should have performed to a track?
No. What I'm saying is I think it was too much dancing to where I think his vocals was hurt, at least for me.
You didn't think he sounded good?
No.
I mean, there were moments that I was like,
Nah, like I guess for me, it would have been cool for maybe a couple songs for him to just stand still and sing.
He did that with You Got It Bad.
It wasn't enough for me.
It wasn't enough.
And I mean, you got like 30 seconds of You Got It Bad. You know what I mean? Like I'm with the dancing. The dancing was superb, but I don't know. I would have loved to have at least heard his voice just a lot more. Especially when you talk about R&B or whatnot, it would have been dope. And, February 11th was the anniversary of Whitney Houston's death. Not saying that he should have did like some sort of tribute or anything like that, but just, I think about Whitney Houston singing the Star Spangled Banner years ago at the Super Bowl. It would have just been nice for me to have heard more of Usher's vocals. The dancing is cool. The pageantry and everything, the representation was incredible. But like I said, I just would have loved to have heard more vocals from him.
That's fair. I feel you on that. We know that Usher dropped the album. The reviews are, kind of mixed right now. I haven't listened to all of it, but I already liked Good. I liked the song with the City Girls, and there's a couple other ones that I liked. I don't know about the rest yet. We're going to have to see. But shout out to Usher again, 30 years independent. Usher is not with a current label. He's independent. So keep in mind the Super Bowl, or the NFL rather, pays $15 million for the production budget for halftime performances. They don't actually give the artist a check. Anything over that has to come out of pocket. We did talk about Usher making $26 million from his Vegas residency, but, you know, Usher probably had to pay a lot for that. Not a lot, but, you know, he had to come up, or his label, which he is the owner of, out of pocket for such pageantry. So he gave us a show. He gave us a moment. Andy, you look like you have something.
No, I'm just reading the comments. And,
Okay.
you know, I'm not giving Usher grace. I'm sorry.
You're not giving Usher grace?
Look, I'm all for the dancing. I love to see Usher dance, or anybody else for that matter. But, and I understand it's a tall order to sing and dance at the same time. And that's why I just said, like, at least one or two songs. Just go ahead and sing. That's it. I just want to hear your vocals. That's all.
I'm not mad at that.
Honestly, I got that issue with a lot of R&B singers.
That's fair.
You feel me? It's not
That's
too
fair.
many that I know that could really just sing and dance at the same time, other than Michael Jackson. I think Cisco might have had his moments or whatnot. But once again, I just wanted to hear the vocals. That's all.
So listen, Jermaine Dupri popped out on stage with a little Lord Fauntleroy looking suit. His socks looked like berries and cream. They were Louis Vuitton though, curated by Pharrell. He said, you guys don't know fashion. Here's the thing. Not everything is for everybody just because it's fashionable. Shout out to you, JD. You are a legend. But that look wasn't it for the night. I just didn't appreciate it. So it was Caught Up, You Don't Have to Call. I wanted to hear Lovers and Friends. We didn't hear Lovers and Friends. Love in This Club. You know, Alicia Keys and my boo. She did a little bit of If I Ain't Got You. Whatever. We heard Nice and Slow, Let It Burn. Her with Bad Girl. Oh my God, you knew you were going to hear that. I mean, thinking that this was anything, that this was going to be anything other than Usher's. Now that's what I call the hits volume 27 or whatever. You'd be wrong. So, look, I thought it was nice. I do have some additional commentary to add when we get in on the other side. But, Usher taking his shirt off, that's got to be a first in the Super. Maybe somebody else has, but I appreciated that. I appreciate them. Listen, that does not count, and we will not speak of that because it's still every Super Bowl Sunday, Janet Jackson Appreciation Day. I do appreciate Usher hitting us off with Superstar. We're also going to get into a little bit of some of the commentary on the other side about Usher's performance, and we're going to talk about that Beyonce drop in. Did Beyonce steal a little bit of Usher's thunder? We're going to get into all of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas, who is black, is recommending there be no school Wednesday so that everyone can attend the city's Super Bowl victory parade. The Kansas City Chiefs won their third Super Bowl title in 5 years over the weekend. They are the first team to win back-to-back NFL championships in almost 20 years. When the Chiefs won last year, close to 1 million people flooded downtown streets for a victory parade and rally. Farmington Public School parents in Michigan are voicing frustrations after an alleged incident involving a teacher using a racial slur was reported. East Middle School Principal Drew LaCroix sent a letter to families at the end of January saying a teacher used an anti-black slur repeatedly while explaining to students the language was not appropriate. The Farmington African American Parent Network spoke at a school board meeting this month with many parents expressing frustration, disappointment, and anger over the issue. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
You like your style, guy?
At KBLA Talk 1580, we are unapologetic about amplifying the voices of those who have historically been left out of the conversation. As we approach our 3rd anniversary this summer, the problem with talk radio in Southern California specifically, and America more broadly, is virtually unchanged. All day, all night, all white. We make no apologies for our prime audience, but true to the best of our tradition, we're committed to expanding justice and freedom for all. So when we receive messages from listeners like Neil, we just smile.
I realize that I'm not your target demographic, but I love listening to your station as it is the only progressive station on the dial.
That's us. Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Around here, we don't believe in victimhood. We believe in raising our voices, amplifying black voices in the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your Black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I need your body, baby. Wanna feel your body, baby. I'ma kill your body, baby. Tonight. Lie on me. Baby, die on me. Don't be shy on me. Keep your eyes on me. Been a minute, too much to be exact. And I miss you, baby. In fact, driving me crazy, baby. So why don't we just go somewhere where me and you can iron it out, flatline it out. Hey. Cause I miss you in the morning, and I miss you in the afternoon. Girl, I miss you in the evenings. Girl, I miss you like I never knew. Girl, I miss you like Jodeci. Girl, I miss you like Pac. Girl, I miss you like Khalil. Come back and make this song stop. Don't let this turn into a bop.
I like
Don't
it.
let this turn into a bop.
It's a vibe, you know? Listen, Usher's gonna give you something that's grown, it's sexy. You chill out and listen to it, throw it on. It's been rocking for 30 years, you know? It's been a mix of his hits. Lean into whatever you want, and it's gonna work. It's gonna work for you. Let me get into some of these comments on YouTube. Remember, as always, if you want to join the conversation, 800-920-1580. If you want the visual to go along with your audio experience, hit us up on YouTube. We are there now live, KBLA 1580, and the chat is heavy. So Prester John says the entire NFL did Kaepernick dirty. The NFL pushes gambling venues hard enough to easily deduct that games are being blanked. So you can fill in the blank should you like. We're going to get into Vegas and the NFL in a little bit. Pretty Brown Mimi says Usher gets a 10 for performing on roller skates. Nobody has ever done that at the Super Bowl. DJ Black 909 says Usher did the damn thing. The only thing missing was Lovers and Friends. That is my jam. I knew I wasn't going to hear it, but we could dream. I feel like at the end, since they ended with Yeah, and he, Little John, and Luda were already on stage, they could have just said, please tell your lovers and friends that Usher, you know, but whatever. Small thing, small thing. A surprise appearance from Goody Mob, TLC, T.I., and Outkast. Never was going to happen. Maybe TLC. 9 out of 10 for DJ Black. Prester John also said Jackson State rocked HBCU strong. Pretty Brown Mimi, nobody whines and grinds like Usher, baby. I enjoyed every moment. He brought the A to the Super Bowl. And Brother Alfonso said, it's the Super Bowl. We all know Usher can sing for real. It's about the performance. If you want to see him sing, you have to go to his show. Okay. Fair point. We are not loving Jermaine Dupri's ensemble. Someone said he looked like a little pilgrim off the Mayflower. Usher knew the assignment, bring our culture to the Super Bowl. He's a sexy and talented man. Andy, I know what you...
Brother Alfonso. So with that metric, you're telling me that you're okay with just watching him dance? And that's it? Just curious.
Well, Terry added to the conversation. He said, to you, I like the singers that dance and sing, i.e. Michael Jackson, Prince, Chris Brown, Janet, Babyface, Isley Brothers, OJ's, Levert, Bruno Mars, etc. I like to sing and dance myself. I mean, okay. Prester John says, just an observation. Have we ever had an R&B singer dancer combo who had a deep voice? Most have high-pitched voices. Well, listen, I do understand some of the spectacle was overwhelming in some moments, but it's a football field, so you don't really just want Usher's little ant self out there. That place holds 60,000 people plus a broadcast, so you have to fill up that space with something, right? So that is one. He had 5 costume changes. 5. Do you know what I'm saying? And still was on beat. I mean, there's going to be, when the mic is on and you're not using a track, sometimes there's imperfections in the voice. But I did not feel like he did a bad job. Like, he definitely didn't start off how A Keys did, you know.
Okay, I want to acknowledge that.
Okay.
It wasn't bad at all. Good performance, great performance. I guess my expectations
was a little higher.
Was a little bit higher from a vocal standpoint.
I got you.
That's all.
He fair.
brought it with the dance. And just like you said, the whole tick thing, that was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? That was a throwback. The dance was on point.
So, I thought he had little things. He also had a Super Bowl commercial, so shout out to him. Shout out to Jeff Goldblum. He had some camera time, and he had like 3 Super Bowl commercials yesterday. I know those checks were fat. Listen, the coins were being spent. Speaking of, we know that Usher dropped the pre-sale for his tour. I think the tour is almost, if not sold out. There were extra dates and cities added, but, they blew out those prices were out of there. Those prices were extremely high, right? He also, people were wondering why he dropped the pre-sale in his album before the actual show. And I think we know why now. Andy, I see a comment for you in the chat. Brother Alfonso, he said, I'm okay, Andy, for the Super Bowl, but I'll admit the vocals were a little off last night, but performance was great.
And I can agree with that. I get it. Like you said, it's a football stadium. You got 60,000 plus people. You definitely want to cover all angles of the field, or at least entertain all angles from the field. So I get it. I understand it 100%.
So, and Pretty Brown Mimi again wants to stress he performed in Skates and he looks good. What more do you want?
He
from
performed one song in Skates, 2 songs in Skates. I'm not even knocking that. I thought that was dope. We talked about that,
yeah,
leading up to it.
Yeah, we knew
so,
we were going to see some Skates.
That was dope to see that. Like I said, I just wanted to hear.
You wanted to hear his vocals more because you know he has them.
Absolutely, especially on a platform like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the time where we're looking at R&B is kind of garbage. This is an opportunity to let the world know that, Usher can sing too. Don't get it twisted.
On that. I feel you. I do find it interesting how panned he was by like trade online outlets like Deadline. I think even E! News. They're like, "Boo, we were looking for Justin Bieber." Well, why? I mean, not like that. I know why, but really why? When Usher said in the pre-interviews, this is about real R&B, that wasn't your first clue that you probably weren't going to see Justin Bieber? I don't know. I'm just saying. Then people are saying, because, we had a debut. We knew that Beyonce and Verizon were going to be dropping something. But Beyonce completely hijacked the Super Bowl. And it's okay, because it's Beyonce, to make the announcement of her country album and that rollout. Now, some are wondering, was it fair to steal Usher's thunder like that? Is there some sort of professional courtesy that should have been extended? But I counter with Usher and his team likely already knew, hence his pre-sale and his album dropping before the Super Bowl happened. So I think everybody wins. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think it encroached on Usher at all. I understand why people might feel that way, but I really don't think that it kind of messed it up in that way. Now, we are going to talk about Beyonce's country debut and how that rollout happened. One thing that you got to know, as soon as I heard Beyonce speak in the Verizon commercial, I was like, oh, they dropped the bag. What are we saying? They dropped a bag. They're setting it up. So we're going to get into Beyonce's surprise announcement on the other side. We are also going to talk a little bit about how Beyonce continues to shake things up every bit of the way. And we'll get into more of your comments because there's more. And I got some little tidbits, some little, things that were happening around the scenes at at Super Bowl in Las Vegas. We'll get into all of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyaudio.media.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyaudio.media.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Before we get back into Usher and more into this Beyonce conversation, I also want to mention that Jesus had a lot of money last night on the Super Bowl. Listen, I am not opposed to, hearing a message in unconventional places. I just wonder, could those funds have not gone to the people? I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm not saying how you should move. And I understand the opportunity to get the message out to a very wide audience. I am just asking the question because it was more than one spot. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And again, wash the feet like Jesus. I feel that it's a important message, and we're coming up on Lent, so it's also very expensive. That's all.
We do have a homeless epidemic in America. I'm just saying.
And that is all that I am saying as well. I am not mad that you did it. I am not saying the appropriateness of it. I am just pointing out, there were multiple. Maybe you could have said something like, instead of buying another spot, we're going to donate this to them. Match us and meet us. I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you how you run your business. Marketing is kind of my thing, but that's just my thought on that one. Real quick. That's all. Shout out to them, though. Okay. Also, in Money Well Spent or Not, Kanye West said that his spot, I don't know, I missed it. Did you see Kanye's commercial? Kanye had a commercial last night on the Super Bowl. I missed it. It was a quick spot. He said he paid like over $1 million for it. And it was him in the back of his car. It was shot on his phone. And he said, I'm spending all my money, all the money that we have on the budget. I'm blowing the budget on this commercial to tell y'all to go to Yeezy.com. And supposedly they really did. And guess what? Rung up sales to the total of $19 million. Allegedly. Listen, KBLA Talk 1580 is your election information station, and we just released our first ever survey of Black LA County voters. The groundbreaking results highlight a wide open LA County District Attorney's race. You know that's important here. Plus, the Black community's views on crime, criminal justice, and other key issues that are not being addressed by the DA candidates. To see the unique results of our very first political poll of likely Black voters in LA County, hit up the website, KBLA1580.com. While you're there, check out a rundown of all the candidates that have been interviewed so far, and take a moment to fill out our climate justice survey. No talk radio station in California is doing it like us, so make sure that you know you're home here. KBLA Talk 1580, we got your Black. Okay, so back to the Super Bowl situation. And, you know, again, a lot happening, right? So, no, excuse me. Kanye's 30-second slot cost him $7 million, right? But he said it generated 284,000 orders, totaling 19.3 million sales in less than 24 hours. You guys mess with Yeezy, okay? Don't act like you don't. Don't act like you don't. You know, kind of on the other end of the spectrum, just so you know, it's thought that Verizon reportedly paid about $30 million for Beyonce to star in that 2024 Super Bowl ad, right? And you know they had to drop the bag because Beyonce was talking a lot and acting. Go ahead, Miss Beyonce. But when she said at the end of the commercial, oh, they're ready now, drop the single. You know, the internet, it didn't break, but it did freak out a little bit. Everyone was looking for it, and then she dropped the video on her Instagram. First of all, we know that she's been giving us clues about the country thing. She's been wearing a lot of cowboy hats. We saw the horse in Act 1. We know that she's always talked about doing a country album. So even though this was a surprise, it's not a surprise, you know? We always expected it from B. But not on this date and not in that form or fashion. Now, what I can say honestly is I'm going to have to wait and see, right? I appreciate country music in moments. I'm not going to say that I'm ready to jump out the window and get all up into it, but I'm happy that she is happy and exploring and stepping out into that area, right? But listen, Beyonce did kind of steal Usher's thunder, but it's fair. No shade, no hate. It's going to work. It's going to work out for all of them. I do think it is important that Beyonce came out with authentic country audience. Not that she wouldn't. Beyonce always goes that extra mile. But the credits for the singles that are out, it's Texas Hold'em. And the other single is Something 16. I have to get back to you on that. But she has Rihanna Giddens playing banjo and viola on Texas Hold'em. She is an expert on the topic of Black people and the banjo, right? So it's very important to know that. Also, something to keep in mind, we saw a more traditional rollout with Renaissance. We didn't get videos. I think it's because she shot them and wasn't happy with them. But whatever the case was, we didn't get videos. So Beyonce always does something slightly different to get our attention with each product. So the mini movie that she dropped and all the little cowboy and cowgirl references, I appreciate it. But I did have a problem with people acting like, one, Beyonce hadn't performed at the CMAs with the Dixie Chicks in the past. Two, that she didn't have the song Daddy that she wanted submitted to the CMAs, but they were like, no. So, 16 Carriages, that's what the other single is called. So it's not as if Beyonce hasn't been dropping hits. She's currently the first Black female artist to reach the top of Apple Music's country chart in history. She's also the first female Black artist to occupy both the first and second positions. Raphael Sadiq co-produced and co-wrote the two new singles, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. Love Raphael Sadiq. And we're ready for our Yeehaw era. Look, let's not act like we, as Black people, have not always had some moments where we got into the country music scene. Listen, I'm here for all of the urban cowboy realness, right? Think about this. Dallas, back in the day, Who Shot JR? We loved the oil rigs and JR's hat, right? Did we not go through a situation where Nelly was in his country era as well, making songs? Didn't he make a song with Tim McGraw? We did. Your grandma, your big mama and them, your granddaddy, they watched Bonanza back in the day. I'm sure they did. Okay? And we just had Lil Nas X with Old Town Road. K. Michelle, she's been talking about her country way. We'll get into her. You guys were trying to pit K. Michelle against Beyonce. She was not having it. She's not letting you. And, of course, we love Dolly Parton, Jolene. There's rumors Jolene, a remake, might be on this Act 2 album. We'd love to hear it. But don't forget, we love Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton together. Islands in the Stream, The Gambler. Lady was written by Lionel Richie. Country music songs. Do you know what I'm saying? Rappin' Duke. You think about Sir Mix-a-Lot's first single, it was called Square Dance Rap. So there have always been moments where we yeehawed across the thing. The Harder They Fall just came out a few years ago, and we were all talking about Black cowboys and things like this. Bass Reeves just came out as a series. So it's not strange. Listen, on the other side, we're going to get into more of this topic. We're also going to talk about Shannon Sharp and what's going on with him right now, the feedback. We're going to talk about some Super Bowl Wags beef, because there's some happening. All of that and more trending topics, more headlines. On the other side, you're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and Sports is up next.
Cause I miss you in the morning. Girl, I miss you in the afternoon. Girl, I miss you in the evening. Girl, I miss you like I never knew. Girl, I miss you like Jodeci. Girl, I miss you like Pop. Oh, girl, I miss you like Aaliyah. Come back and make this song stop. Don't let this turn into a pop. Don't let this turn into a pop.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the